Ladies and gentlemen, it's the notorious ATB and Just Tank Credible.
That's right.
Here for a very special Victory Road Live. We've also got Killer Kim with us because she made me watch some knockout matches.
That's right. Welcome to the show, Kim.
Hello, thank you for having me.
She's here. She did a whoop whoop.
Yeah, because she's on my side of things.
No.
She's a juggalette, just like the man that's going to keep us in charge is a juggalo. Juice Box is in the house. There we go, looking like anybody.
Doing a bit like someone else we knew from Monday.
Hello, what's up? How y'all doing?
And then the man that we call to hop on last because he had nothing better to do, Professor Bear's in the house.
Ooh. Yep, I got caught in the bear trap, so I'm here.
Yeah. So I did want to make sure and get a good round of people here to talk about TNA's Victory Road, since it's been 20 years since the start of Victory Road. I remember watching that first pay-per-view just a few days after my birthday when I was in high school and loved it.
Yep.
I was a TNA fan from day one at that point. And I was like, let's talk about all the ones that I could find as a good bullet point or stopping point in their history timeline. And I knew that if we could get a good woman's perspective, that Miss Kim Maggard might be a good hand for that.
Well, thank you. You might be onto something there. I will give you that at least.
There you go.
Smart man.
And then we've also got Juice Box from Twitch.
From Sharpshooters. Great show.
The Sharpshooters. Him and Danny. Danny couldn't be here because he's out at the Jersey Shore.
He couldn't spell StreamYard to get into this
game.
It's math teacher for a reason. He's a math teacher for a reason.
And who's this other loser?
My friend and a friend of the podcasting society, Mr. Professor Bear.
Thank you.
Smarter than you juggalo piece of garbage. Professor Bear, my friend, welcome to the show once again.
I appreciate it. And we got something juicy for Mr. Juggalo.
For me? We do. What do you think you've got for me, Bear?
Well, we have decided that we're going to have a face-off, me and you. We're impartial people. And see who's the smartest in this wrestling game.
Okay. That's fine. I'm more than happy to school you. I'll be your dean. It's all right.
Oh, boy.
You can pick any name you want.
I can be the dean of WrestleNomics.
You're going to flop as hard as Dean Douglas.
I'm the doctor of Thugonomics, all right? Did you see that Dirty South jersey? Uh-huh.
This is disgusting. I don't know why I'm contractually obligated to do this. I wouldn't do this for any other reason. This show fucking sucks. Ooh, excuse me.
Whoa,
right off the bat. Excuse me, everybody.
We are dropping F-bombs to start the show.
Whoopsie daisy. Welcome to the live.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
There's
3 strikes and I'm out.
Stone cold tanny dust over here again. So, TNA's first Victory Road. I actually, Juice Box, do you want to get us started with Victory Road because you're more organized than I am?
I mean, sure. I mean, I wrote down some bullet points, but I did not go match by match. So
wow.
5 pay-per-views worth, and honestly, a lot of it was not gonna lie, guys.
Match.
Was that?
I went match by match.
Excellent, great, but like I'll admit, I came in and going, okay, Victory Road to watch the old school TNA and whatever, and this was rough. This was rough to go through. But it kind of reminded me what made TNA, and that was like a lot of the good was really good, and then all the bad's really bad. There's never been an in between with TNA, at least for me. But I loved the opening battle royal. I think that was a great encapsulation of like what TNA was, especially during that year in 2004. Like you had like Kazarian, Seidel, Machine Guns are in there. And I think they were, was it the World X Cup this year? What were they fighting for this year?
This was X Division 20-man gauntlet battle royale.
Yep, just for
wasn't really for anything.
Yeah,
They,
just
they
for
got a
fun.
trophy at the end of it that was
Yeah.
already broken. I did notice that.
Yeah.
So,
That sounds about right.
show of hands, who here actually watched all 5 Victory Roads?
So no. So
I watched the first 2 all the way through, but they were the only 2 that I could find all the way through.
Okay, fair enough. They were on
So,
YouTube. I knew that.
I signed up for a free month of TNA Plus
I should have done that.
to watch them, but I did not rewatch 2020 because it was not great.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even bother with 2024 because I'm big time out on TNA at the moment. I just could not do it. So I'll give what I can on that at the end, but
That's
I'm not
fair
gonna have
enough.
much. But yeah, no, so I did. So 04 was a first time full watch. I've seen some matches over time, and then the other 3 were rewatches.
Mhm.
But yes.
I remember loving that gauntlet match.
Yep.
Mhm.
And all of the names that came from that. You had Michael Shane, you had Matt Seidel.
Amazing Red, I think, was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shark Boy.
Sonny Siaki was in there.
Hey,
How about
Oh,
that?
I love Sonny Siaki.
I did
I'm
too,
just-
man.
I,
Shark
I,
Boy.
I was so shocked that he did not elevate more. That just broke my heart, to be honest with you.
Another one of my favorites, Matt Seidel, another underappreciated guy in that match.
Oh yeah, love that.
well, I remember, and Professor Bear, I know you live in Knoxville. Did you go to the Tennessee Valley Fair back in the day?
Yes.
So Sonny Siaki wrestled at one of the Buddy Landell independent shows they had down there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they had Sonny Siaki, Bull Buchanan, and Buff Bagwell
Wow.
on the same show. Buff was mammered. Siaki was kind of a douche.
Okay.
Like, he was like, to everybody. Unless you had like double D's, then he would be like, hey. And Bull Buchanan just didn't care. And nobody cared about him. It was really kind of sad.
Well, that's kind of sad.
But it
That
was
was great. Damn it.
So I just want to get it out of the way. Can we talk about the Dusty and Vince Russo election? Like,
Oh,
they should have voted for Russo.
okay,
Guys.
like I hate when they do. I hate when they do this on like TV shows when it's like, oh, it's an election year, so we have to do the election storyline. And
yeah.
here we are doing like Dusty and Russo in an election, and it's like there's swing states, and it's like they're making it like sound legit. I'm like, this is the corniest shit. This is bad, man. I don't know what you guys thought about it, and like it's terrible.
It was
Yeah.
terrible.
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 I agree. Every time they flashed up the percentages,
Yeah.
it's like, you
And
know,
it stayed the same. It was always like, oh, 10% ahead. And then
Yeah.
Dusty comes out.
it's different. We
Yeah,
know
and then
Dusty's going to win. Why
I
are
will
we?
say that going back and watching this one for me was not as fun as I remembered it being. I thought it was a lot better pay-per-view. I was like, oh, dude, 04 Rock, that's a good one. And I went back and watched it. It was like, damn.
That opening match was a banger.
Yeah.
There's
And
a
then,
couple matches on the card I enjoyed.
and then
And
you had like 3 or 4 matches of garbage.
Yeah,
And
you
then
did.
the show happened.
Yeah.
Like I love Dusty coming out too at the end, like when he wins, and he's doing like a legit like victory speech, like he won the presidency. He's like, we've been on this trail for a year, we did it. I'm like, this is awful. Like, come on, Dusty. Bad.
I would expect no less from Dusty.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. If Dusty gets a mic, he's going to go.
Mhm.
Dusty had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Dusty was like, well, if they're going to pay me to go out here and pretend to do an election speech, I'll go do an election speech.
Well, baby, you got to understand that I became the president, and we got to get them people together, baby.
Because Dusty, much like Vince Russo, understood that it was a business and he'd do whatever he had an opportunity to do and get a paycheck.
Despicable.
So I'm gonna lay out for this next little part in case anybody has anything they want to say, but
Okay.
I completely skipped over the midgets.
Yeah,
It's okay. Most people do.
It didn't really amount to anything anyway.
it was 3
It's
minutes.
only-
Jarrett and
it was like a
Dusty.
3-minute match.
Jarrett and Dusty really thought Little People Wrestling was like the funniest thing of all time.
I mean,
And they booked it a lot in the early TNA.
Yeah.
they had a midget jerking off in the trash can.
I saw the promo for it. I'm like, nope. I just went right on ahead. I couldn't.
I genuinely felt that way about the 8-man tag that had Eric Watts in it.
Johnny B. Bad in 2004.
And Pat Kenny trying to be this
Yep.
like Irish hero. What was it? Empire Saint.
Yep. And the truth of all people got slapped together in that team. That's such a shame.
Yeah.
Against Timu Drew McIntyre.
That's right. Kid Cash. I actually really love Kid Cash. And the Naturals, who are incredibly underrated as a tag team.
Agreed.
But
I agree with you there.
this match sucked really bad. 45 seconds. It was terrible.
I expected more out of Chase Stevens' career in TNA.
Yep.
Super nice guy, great worker, especially for that era of TNA.
Yep.
Which there were several guys in that gauntlet. When you think back to like Mikey Batts and Jarrell Clark.
Yep. Even Michael Shane, you can say, didn't amount
Yeah.
to much, you know?
You also left out Chris Sabin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Chris Sabin is just signed to be still on top of the world.
Yeah, he still has. He has amounted to several.
He's
things.
amounted to top of the. Jarrell Clark was good. He was kind of there, and then he wasn't.
I'm pretty sure Clark got into like a fight backstage with somebody and quit getting bookings in Florida.
Oh man,
was the story for him, and that's where he lived. So at that point, it was.
Well, from there we see the 3 Live crew, BG James and Conan, take on Bobby Roode and Eric Young of Team Canada. I love Team Canada, dude.
I know.
Yes.
You are a Canadian.
That's right.
You love Team Canada. I get it.
But they lost. The 3 Live crew won this one. Not a good day. It wasn't so glorious Bobby Roode yet. And that's about all there is to say about that. Really, it was a title change.
Yeah, and then we had another Trinity who I know from recent months of just randomly web hopping after a visit from our sponsor with Green Hemp Company.
That's right.
Just web hopping and finding out that apparently she does stunts now.
Really?
Yeah, she's a stunt worker.
Huh.
Well, she was managed by Disco Inferno and Johnny Swinger.
Well, there you go. That explains the whole thing right there.
There you
The
go.
look on
Anything you let
Juice Box's face
Disco
that she's
in.
Googling something.
Yeah.
Because bullshit here live on Nights of the Round Table. Squared Circle.
Yeah.
Nights of
No,
the Squared Circle. I butchered my own show's name. That's terrible.
Uh-huh.
Horrible.
Well,
can I just say
but
the
anytime you say Disco Inferno, you know something's gonna go wrong. So
I hate Disco Inferno, Bear. I never was a fan at all.
Yeah. When I could tell you the whiplash that I felt in the 3 minutes from, oh my God, it's Jacqueline. She's here, the hottest free agent from WWE.
Yeah.
She's here in TNA, to debuting to 2 minutes later losing to Trinity, and it like nothing mattered. I was like, what? Like maybe we're just too conditioned this day and age where it's like new person debuts, they get their win in, but like, oh my God. Like she signed for that? Like that
We
was
were still a little ways off the Knockouts revolution, man.
well, not even women,
You
just
know.
debuts, like men and women.
Yeah.
Comes in, they usually
Because, I
get the
mean,
win.
how many debuts do you know lose?
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh my God.
Well-
So I had a question about Monsters Ball.
Yes.
Was this the first one?
I don't think it was.
I think it was.
the first Monsters Ball.
I thought so, but I didn't recall them saying it, so I didn't know.
I don't remember anything about it being the first either.
Yeah, it feels like it might have been, but I don't know.
Because I think Raven had one with Punk when they were there.
I thought that was
That was the
Clockwork
Clockwork Orange House of Fun.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Same difference, really.
No,
I mean, really,
Honestly, though, it sort of
yeah.
is. Except for the Monsters Ball had Monty Brown, who I really loved, and Raven.
It was amazing to me that they dropped the ball with Monty Brown. They should have gave him the title and let him go.
It is the first one?
Per Wikipedia, the Notorious one's right.
Already this trivia started off.
So,
hey, that get your little rights now because you ain't gonna do it.
I'm gonna get my
later,
rights
so.
on my left, old man. Sit there and deal with it.
Eldridge says disco fever. Yeah, that's all. Okay, that's
so. Listen,
American males.
Y'all can get out your pitchforks or whatever you want and come at me, but not a Monty Brown guy.
What?
I can understand, and truthfully, I understand why. Because Monty just had one particular style, and he could talk.
Yeah,
but I can see why you wouldn't be.
Period.
He just didn't do it for me at all.
That's got me going. When I saw him
love
crazy
Monty Brown.
bounce, especially on a smaller guy that would go flying, I thought it was the
The
coolest
Jarrell
thing.
Clark ones.
Yeah.
That's what he was good for.
Yes.
I love.
They were awesome.
I think I love more of him saying the pounce than hitting it, because just the way he said it was just like, yes.
I remember, and Lord knows they wouldn't have fit me, but I remember being in Orlando and seeing some of the liquid blue, like Monty Brown and Abyss shirts that TNA had back in the day, and be like, oh my God, that is the coolest, tackiest piece of garbage that I would wear, and it wouldn't fit me in my entire. So instead, I bought like 3 Boston Red Sox 2004 World Series hats. That's for you, Juice.
So the next 3 matches that I have written down here, honestly, it's unfortunate, but they all kind of have the same note written next to them, for me at least. Underwhelming and needed more time. Because on paper, it's like, oh man, like Monsters Balls should be dope. Styles versus Petey should be dope. Triple X versus AMW should be dope. And for me, at least, all 3 kind of just fell short with some sort of botched ending or dumb referee action. But I'll lay out. You guys can pick whatever match you want to do first. But yeah.
Petey, I agree with you. Sorry, go ahead, Kim.
I was just going to say I completely agree with that sentiment kind of across the board, I feel like, for all of the TNA matches that I watched. They all felt really short. Like it felt like very out of the normal. I don't know if that's like you had mentioned earlier with like being conditioned a certain way about when people debut and like win their first match. Like, I don't know if we're conditioned with that now of having 1.5 hour long matches sometimes.
I think that's absolutely what it is. Because I remember back in the day feeling like WCW had 20-minute long matches on TV. No, that was 6 minutes, bro.
Yeah.
And that they were tossing out even on the old Fox Sports Net, they had a timer. There was a 15-minute timer for their matches.
Yeah. But this is pay-per-view, my man. We live.
I would have expected more out of it. Yes.
But and I was going to say TNA had a bad habit of where they should have let stories go, because they would drop a storyline just like no explanation. And anything. And it's like, okay, we spent this time building up and we paying money for this pay-per-view for this.
Honestly, if they had took the 8-man tag and the midget match out of it, that would have been about 8 minutes. Put those same guys in the battle royal, all 10 of them in there, make it a 30-man battle royal. You get the same number of checks going out. Everybody gets a spot, and then you're able to take those 8 minutes and toss it into, you can give the Monsters Ball a 10-minute match. You can give AJ and Williams 12 minutes, and it makes more sense. I mean,
AJ and Petey, as good as a match as I thought that was, I thought it was really rushed.
I get the nice guy thing of like, we're going to make sure all the boys get a paycheck. And I feel like Jarrett was big on that. But damn, man, not everybody deserves that paycheck.
Well, and even to me, it's like this. To get a better paycheck for everybody, you got to put on a better show. to make people want to come back to it. If you keep consistently putting out crap, then people are not going to be interested in it. You might get them 1-2 times, but then it's like, man, I'm not about to watch this.
Yeah.
And that was, if I can get this thing to click or not.
There you go.
I was just trying to show Eldridge's comment, but I get that. But I also feel like at that point, TNA was just throwing anything at the wall.
I agree.
Right.
They were allowed to do it.
Yeah.
I think at least.
Like at that point, I get why they did everything they did, even if looking back, it's corny now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, by all means, we can go back if I'm skipping ahead too much for anyone's notes. But my last thing, I'm on the main event now, so by all means, we can go back. I'm just trying to help.
No, we're good.
Along, but main event, man. I mean, Jeff Jarrett. I don't know if he has a fear of taking sunset flip power bombs, but that's my first and like only note about the match. Like twice, he just would not take a sunset flip power bomb at all.
I even remember hating the tease in 2004 that Hall and Nash weren't going to be on the same page.
Yeah.
I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Mile away. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It would have been a bigger swerve if they had turned on Jarrett.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
But they weren't down with that, brother.
Oh, but Jeff was going to win at the end of the night.
Right.
Yeah, I will say, like, because this was my first time watching any of these for me personally.
Okay.
Which is like great and everything. That's fine.
Well, what were you, like 10 in 2004? No, probably not even 10. 4? Were you 4?
In 2004, I would have been 3.
I was 6.
Child.
I was 6.
Yeah. Children.
But I still do my research and everything is fine. So we don't even talk about that.
That's all that
But I
matters.
did notice that, like,
doubt.
so of course, like anyone would know if you have any common sense, you knew Kevin Nash was going to show up.
Yeah.
Inevitably, which is all cool and everything. I thought the turn was completely stupid. It like made me want to unwatch all of what had just happened.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense to me, and I didn't know if that was just because I didn't have much of the background, you know. But I also know sometimes a lot of things are what they are at face value, and that felt like one of those moments.
Honestly, the background makes it worse. You're probably better off that you hadn't seen the background.
Yeah, but Kim, here's the good thing. They hit you with the Men in Black memory wipe because minutes later, the Macho Man showed up, and all is good.
Right, and that made it fine because I love Macho Man.
See, that's my point.
But what you don't have the displeasure of remembering is that the next damn month, Macho Man showed up for 10 seconds and rolled up Jeff Jarrett and never showed back up again.
You know what? I'm fine with that too because I don't like Jeff Jarrett, but
yes.
we'll have to go down.
Look, that's strike one. She may not be back.
Strike one.
Jeff Jarrett is nothing more than a poor man's Triple H.
You know what?
He sucks.
I'm okay.
That is a great analogy.
You know what happens when
I was going to say that Jeff Jarrett, as much as I appreciate Jeff, one of the biggest problems with TNA is he held the title too many damn times.
He had to put people over. He put everybody over.
But okay, for the people he put over, who he turned around and squashed them again. So what was the point?
He was continuously putting people over. Who else are you going to put the title on in 2002? Grandmaster Sexy?
Anybody.
Would you like the title on Road Dogg Jesse James?
I would have took that. It would have been different. It would have been different.
Here's my big thing for that era of Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett knew that he was going to be there every week.
Exactly.
He was at least
you know what?
On television.
Again, I get that from the booking standpoint because just like if you go to any promoter, they always if it wasn't them with the title, it was somebody they knew was loyal to them and wasn't going to leave. But
that's what you do.
With that same philosophy, you still have to put somebody over and to make them relevant. And the problem what I had with Jeff Jarrett back then is like He didn't let Hardy win. He wouldn't let Monty Brown win.
Wait. Hardy was so doped up during his TNA run and
Okay.
was the king of no-shows that there was no shot they should have put the belt on him.
All right, I'm gonna step in. I'm gonna reel this back in, just so we can wrap up.
Keep going, got you.
No, I'm with you guys. I'm all about the argument, but just so we can
No,
go it along.
Just so Juice doesn't spend his entire Friday night here.
No, just for the sake of everybody and our viewers, we can always come back to Jared.
That's 2004.
Anybody with
5.
closing thoughts on 04?
It was definitely a early TNA that I could give it a pass because of certain things. It wasn't like the worst pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, and I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but out of all 5 shows with everything I watched of them, the first one I think was my favorite. I gave it a 4 out of 5. But it was also like fresh eyes. That was the first thing I had seen.
I will give that one a 3.5 out of 5. Look, I
cannot.
know what's coming out of these.
2.5.
Yeah, they get rough.
2.5.
Yeah, they get rough.
Substantially worse.
Sad.
It's about to get worse.
Look,
For your favorite show to be a 4 out of 10, I cannot wait to hear the rest.
Right?
No, out of 5. Out of 5.
Oh, I'm out of 5. I thought.
Out of 5.
It's still 5 wrestling.
My brain just naturally went dead.
Everything's still 5.
He never knows my name. He never knows my gimmick. He just keeps coming back, but he keeps us in line, so I like it. So we need him.
Oh boy! All right. So next one's up. Anybody want to start or have thoughts they want to jump into?
First off, let's recognize that 2004 they had 700 people in the Impact Zone.
Yeah.
The next year they had 3,000. Or the next one that we're talking about, which is just a couple years later.
4 years later.
3,000.
You had 3,000 people in Texas.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That is some growth for this company.
They've grown.
Yes.
Okay.
And you'll also be able to tell, looking at this match card, that in the 4 years since the last one we discussed, they made some stars.
Yeah.
They started to figure it out a little bit. There's some homegrown talent here that stuck around for quite a while. That being said, we'll start with the World X 2008 Cup. Third round of 4 teams elimination match. That's a mouthful.
It was a cluster of a match.
That sounds like something John would throw together.
It was a 3-on-3 match.
Jeez.
Elimination rule.
It was like 35 minutes long. It was long.
Yeah. It was good.
It was really good.
It was good.
I was going to say I did enjoy it.
Yeah, it was good. Just long. Oh my god.
Team TNA being the Motor City Machine Guns and Curry Man. Curry Man pops me every single time. Hot and spicy. I'll never not love that gimmick. And then it was Alex Kozlov, Doug Williams, and Tyson Dew for Team International. That's a pretty good team for the time. Some underrated guys there.
Well, we got James Matheny talking about Bound for Glory, but the 2005 one was the best pay-per-view they had.
He's probably right.
It's probably accurate.
Yeah. But
maybe we'll do a Bound for Glory one next year.
Kim's man says Curry Man based. That's right.
All right.
Curry Man. Welcome to the show, Tyler.
Doesn't want to be on camera, but he's fine being in the chat. We see how it is.
Let him live. Tyler, we're happy to have you here. Welcome.
We're glad to have you here with us. At least you're watching.
That's right.
You're probably the only family member that, well, you've probably got family here. I guarantee you my brother's like, I ain't watching this.
The Eggers Armada is here and in full force. Yeah. We are watching this show right now.
Sorry. Yoshino put on a heck of a show in that 12-man match.
I really like Milano Collection.
Yes. I love
what
Milano.
An underrated gem. I forgot all about him.
Yep.
And it was nice to see him. I wish he would have done more in his career.
I love them with the little dog collar leash. Nothing on it.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Big pop. I like him.
You could see that they knew Alex Shelley was special then, which is one thing that TNA did more than Ring of Honor, I think.
Yeah.
They realized how special Alex Shelley could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They realized how special AJ could be.
They did.
Yeah.
Well, and I think AJ fit in better there.
Absolutely.
I don't think AJ was as good in Ring of Honor.
Everyone was as good as AJ in Ring of Honor. TNA made him stand out more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there.
Yeah, that's why Adam Cole sucks now.
But that was a fun, that was a fun X Cup match. Team TNA won. The Machine Guns and Curry Man, of course. Pretty fun match, like we said.
Which coincidentally, by Yoshino staying in there, that managed to let Team Japan still have people for the Ultimate X match later on.
That's right.
Because if he had gotten eliminated, then they would have been out, and it just would have been 3 teams competing for the win.
That was really confusing.
Well, this is TNA Wrestling.
Yeah.
Victory Road.
The land of confusion.
Yep.
That's how it works.
Can I say I want more fans revenge matches? Like, that's awesome. I love that. Everyone gets straps. They're all just like, we're gonna mess you up. We're gonna get you.
I would really like to know where these fans are now. Like, I would love to do an interview with one who's like, yeah, I whipped him 4 times, buddy. Tell you what.
Yeah. I gave James Storm all I got, buddy.
Hey, if I was out there, I would have helped beer money if I was out there myself.
What I mean,
I would have been going after the other team. Everybody else is going after beer money. I would have been backing them up.
Beer money was
so you would have been going after LAX.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's right.
I'm not a Hernandez guy. I'm not a Conan guy. I like Homicide, but I don't like the other ones. So.
I tell you, I was just impressed that they were able to take the straps from the fans, because if I was a wrestler and you strap me, I'm probably going to turn around and punch you out.
Let's be honest. It's probably been some kids that go to a wrestling school down there.
Yeah. Right.
Here.
Yeah.
So,
what are you guys talking about? What?
I don't think that's not what it is.
Here's the thing. It is TNA. They very well could have.
Just like, hey, you want to be in the show?
You guys gonna beat down the straps?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in their show lines before. I could see them doing that at the Impact Zone. I don't know about in Texas, but at that point in TNA, they might have enough people to go out there with the belts. They might not.
Yeah.
It was very hit or miss. But we pushed Booker T hard on this episode, and I had to skip through every one of those dumbass Booker T homecoming skip.
You didn't like Cribs? You didn't like Booker T Cribs?
No, I didn't. I didn't like Booker T's Cribs. I didn't like Booker T's This Is My Hometown Special. I didn't like Booker T's.
I really did. Is the funny part. It entertained me. I've always loved Booker a lot.
I have come to find that I didn't enjoy much of Booker T once he started leaning into trying to be funny.
Wow.
From Booker T and Edge over a Japanese shampoo commercial.
Oh my God.
I didn't like him. Huh. I didn't like him in TNA.
You can't blame him
like
for
King Booker.
King Booker was great, man. Come on.
Hated it.
Look, the best when he was doing commentary beating up. Xavier Woods, Consequence Creed. Oh, he take that. Oh.
So Kim, what match do we have next on your notes?
Well, we got to back it up a second.
Let's back it on up.
Order.
Oh, you skipped women's wrestling.
Yeah. So
next,
of course.
X
Whoa.
Division. What did I miss?
Don't worry about that.
You're good.
Don't worry about them.
All right. Okay. So after the Cup X elimination match was the Knockout Grudge match with Angelina Love and Gail Kim.
Not enough time.
It was not anything amazing. It definitely, that's one thing, even as a woman, I don't care to admit, is women's wrestling used to just be really shitty.
Yeah.
It did.
Because for a long time, their sole purpose was to be looked at and I feel like provide kind of a breather for a moment.
At that point, TNA did have the best women's roster.
They did.
Yes, they did.
Angelina could work and Gail Kim could work.
Absolutely. It's just the predicaments that they were put in and the storylines that they were put in, it's just
it was stupid.
Was not what they could have been to their potential.
And they were just trying to find something to slap Gail Kim in while they waited for her and Awesome Kong to come back around.
Yeah. But after that is the grudge match with Sanjay and Black Machismo.
Juicebox's favorite match of the night, right there. Guaranteed.
That's right.
No. Listen, man. I mean, I saw enough of that storyline live in real time. I skipped the match because I've seen it already. I know. I've seen it. I know the story. I know everything that they did. Whatever.
I actually still enjoy that storyline. Like, I would love to see AEW rehash that.
Oh, I love the Black Machismo.
See, that's the problem. That word you use, rehash. Like, no, thank you. I don't need to see like the WWE, WCW greatest hits in TNA again or in AEW again.
Well, we could just have like Jay Lethal and Sanjay split, and then Jay's like, "Oh yeah, tell Val I said hello."
I feel like if they ever did something like that, the fans would piss and moan and complain about it. Because
the fans are
the internet wrestling fans, they're gonna piss and moan anyway.
Well, that's the thing is like, you know, why not give them something new? Like if they want to piss and moan about something that's already existed, they just go back and watch it to piss and moan.
You could give them Adam Cole as the devil in the most underwhelming storyline in the history of AEW.
That's not true.
I don't even want to talk about that.
That's not true.
It is.
It's
everything Adam Cole has done has been underwhelming.
You can't call it underwhelming when injuries destroyed it. That doesn't make it underwhelming. Disappointing, sure.
I mean, it was destroyed.
Yeah.
All right. What's up next? What do we got?
All right. Well, we already discussed the Revenge Lumberjack match.
And then Taylor Wilde and Awesome Kong had their very short women's time.
I love Awesome Kong, and I was pissed that she lost that match when I rewatched that.
Yeah.
Well, they were leaning into this Raisha Saeed stuff more.
Like, I remember they were pushing Taylor Wilde a lot at that time.
Yeah.
She was very good at the time.
And they teased Abyss against.
Yeah, can someone explain the Abyss run out to me? Is there background to that, or was that?
I got nothing.
At that point, they were just kind of throwing him out there.
He was hanging out.
Like, he was just like the guy that went and broke stuff up. I mean, I didn't understand it.
He was just like a protector.
But there's like always one of those guys.
Yeah.
There's always one of those guys.
And it was the Monster Abyss.
Yeah. Well, he probably was thinking about how good of a worker that Alex Eldridge is.
And Abyss really loves Alex Eldridge.
He does.
Guys. One day you'll get to meet Alex Eldridge. Let him tell you how much
he
Abyss
was supposed
loves
to be here tonight, but he was like, I think I got to work. And then earlier today, he was like, oh, I don't have to work, but I'll just sit at home and watch it.
He's Abyss's best friend of Joseph Parks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
are we on Ultimate X now?
Yeah, we are.
God, this guy.
Well, I'm just trying to keep us on the track, my friends.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, it translates now, like hearing you actually talk it versus how it was coming across in the group chat makes sense now.
Yeah.
That's Juicebox's job. He's like, guys, back on.
Otherwise, we're here till midnight. That's all I'm saying. Just gotta keep it rolling.
Look, you know what? It's what the people want. We got to give it.
We got to give the people what they want.
We're only 40 minutes in, and we're almost through the second show. We're doing good.
That's pretty good, actually, for us. It is.
We should be out of here by midnight.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe 2 a.m. at most.
Yeah, by that point, my wife ought to be well over hearing me talk about wrestling, and like
that's already happened.
What did you guys think of Ultimate X on this show?
Honestly, not a fan of it.
No, it was a little bit underwhelming. I really like Davari. Or was he Sheik Abdul Bashir at that point?
No, I think he was Davari.
Was he Davari? Okay.
He was Davari.
And then Kaz is always great. Was it
Naruki? Was he legitimately hurt, or was he just selling an injury? I can't remember.
I think he was legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that elbow injury, I feel like that hurt the match in general.
It just I never was a big Volador guy. You know, no. I mean,
I did look it up. Apparently, he no longer has a mask, and he lost it to Andrade.
Hey, there you go. Huh. How about that?
Yeah, I went off on an adventure
and figured that out.
And was like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
like going on an adventure to find the perfect Christmas gift.
I think he got hurt on that leg drop off the rope. That's where he got hurt, Kaz.
It definitely looked that way.
Yeah, that huge leg drop, which was dope, but oh my god, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I have notated from that match at all is that Kaz does insane jump on Davari from the X rope.
Yep.
That was the only notable thing.
Same thing I wrote. Yep.
And that's
Same
almost
deal.
that's about it as far as
That's very much Kaz's solo career.
Kaz does insane low drop. Yeah.
Kaz jumps off of ladder onto Rikishi. Kaz jumps off of ladder onto Christian Cage. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, he's in the history books way more than I am. Just wait till you see me jumping off of ladders. Yeah.
For the juggalos and juggalettes. Whoop,
whoop, whoop. Now, you get me to 10,000 views on one of these videos, and I'll jump off of a ladder.
I'll hold you to that.
Okay.
I'm about to say, the internet never dies.
So I thought we were going to get close here with the next match to being a really, really good one that wasn't going to mess anything up. Angle and Team 3D versus Styles, Christian, and Rhino.
I'm sorry, you thought you were going to get to see a good match that nothing happened and made it go bad. Sir, have you watched TNA before?
No, I'm just saying on paper, though, like this, like I like all these guys.
On paper, it does look good.
Angle's my GOAT. I love Angle.
Good
so, I was ready for this to be something special, something really good. And it was for a while.
That's TNA Hall of Famer Rhino now.
That's right. Congratulations, Rhino.
Congratulations.
Professional Wrestling Legacy Hall of Famer, Professor Bear.
Yeah, he's in here with us tonight.
He's here tonight.
He's going to be inducted into a Hall of Fame next year.
Okay.
Professor Bear will be, if he can find his way to Kentucky, he'll be accepting an award.
We've got time.
Hopefully
Devon got hurt pretty bad.
Yeah, he did.
That was unfortunate. Really rough. He was struggling the whole match. And then I got to ask, I have no idea who that guy was at the end. Who the hell is that? Joe Trigg or whatever his name is?
Frank Trigg?
Frank Trigg? Someone
he's an ex-football player and Olympian. They announced he was on commentary. He was on commentary the entire match, and they announced him at the beginning as an ex-Olympian football player.
So I didn't recall or remember him at all. I heard him on commentary, but I was like, all right, some guy on commentary. And then he interfered.
I just assume maybe like correlation of like Olympians between him and Kurt.
Yeah.
They were teasing a match between them at that point.
Yeah. That poo-pooed the ending for me, but whatever. Bully Ray was in that match.
That is a valid point. And the sad thing is 20 years later we're gonna get to say that again.
Yeah, but at that point he was Brother Ray. He wasn't
Yeah, he was Brother Ray.
Heyman has entered the chat.
See the expert Hoovy.
Is me. Hello, Kev.
In the house. At least Juicebox. Hey, Juicebox, let's see that shirt.
Was that
shirt?
Oh no!
He knows who.
Just lost some cool points with me.
Boo!
Hey,
whatever. That ain't nothing new. I made it very clear on the last show.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry to disappoint, Kim. I saw it all over your face. My apologies.
Real quick, one of the things I do want to point out about this match before we move on from it. So I texted when I was watching through this, I texted my husband and I was like, because I heard them announce his name as he was coming out, Kurt Angle, and I paused it and I texted him and I said, was he on Perks at this time? And he said, yup.
Yes,
so I proceeded for caution. And one of the notable things that I put in my notes about this was Angle killing everyone in all caps with a steel chair. Because those steel chair shots he was getting off were ungodly.
Angle murdered people in this era of TNA every week.
Yeah.
According to Kurt, he never took perks when he was wrestling, though.
I don't
He
buy
took them
that.
afterwards.
I don't buy
no
that.
way.
I saw the somersault onto Abyss.
All right. Okay. Who wants to take this main event? Who wants to start?
I hated it.
Yeah, I hated it too.
Someone else start, please.
No contest. I mean, it was Samoa Joe versus Booker T. Went to a no contest, which really sucks because it was almost 18 minutes long.
Yeah.
I hate when matches go over like 5 minutes and it's a no contest. I'm like, okay, you've wasted 20 minutes of my life.
Time. Give that
Yeah.
time to another match.
The first thing I thought when I saw the match, I thought, okay, they're going to take it off of Samoa real quick and give it to Booker because they had to, hey, you were a WWE guy. We got to give you the title.
Yeah.
And just him, Samoa just beating him and beating him. I'm like, what the hell? What is the point of this? In his hometown.
Thank you. Yeah.
What? And then the Sting coming out too, out of nowhere. And
Yeah, that was honestly very confusing to me.
The whole thing.
it was confusing to everybody because it was like, why did Sting get hurt? Anybody else but Sting would have been okay.
Yeah.
But it didn't make any logical sense for Sting.
And then you do the bit where like Charmel makes the 3 count and you leave the whole hometown crowd confused to close your show.
And angry. Confused and very upset.
Listen.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole like couple thing that they try to play into with wrestling sometimes, I feel like it takes a lot of stars to align to make it not come off just so tacky and awful. And this absolutely was tacky and awful. And it's like, I don't want anything against Charmel, but that entire just the entire match and everything made me just not like it.
She wasn't good enough for her role. She was out because of who she was married to, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it was even harder to find good women's wrestling than it is now.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is like, when do we like stop sacrificing the bit just for the sake of the bit? You know, like it's just not needed. That even if everything else that had happened in that match happened the way it did, I feel like it would have been a notch better if she had not been involved.
Yeah.
All right, so let's rank this one out of 5.
I'll put it at 2.
I had it at 2.5.
Let's see.
I'll go 2. 2's fair.
So you said 1?
1.
So I never rated the last show. I'll give the last show a 3, and I'll give this one a 2.
Okay,
that's fair. It's a definite downgrade from the first one.
Yeah. And then we're all going to get to see a 1.
So before we start this, and I'd like to say that TNA in 2011 was the craziest roster, the craziest conglomeration of talent I have ever seen on paper ever. I remember watching this live. Everybody from then and now was on this roster.
Well, and even they didn't even have like Pope on there. Mr. Anderson wasn't on there.
No, they completely give up on homegrown stars. They brought in as many talent as they possibly could from WWE to the point where, I mean, Flair is on the card. They just got Tommy Dreamer from WWE a couple months before this. They got, the Young Bucks are on this card.
Well, and that I do want to say, obviously, we all know the main event that happened here and how awful that was.
Yeah.
Sting and Jeff Hardy. Apparently, the story that I heard was that Sting was debating on going to the WWE to wrestle The Undertaker.
I heard that.
And take their deal. And TNA got him to stay there and gave him the world title. And then they decided to do this rematch the week after because they tried to pop ratings to sell more more pay-per-views. And then Jeff just showed up hammered. Imagine how that had to feel, knowing that you went from this matchup that fans have been begging for, and Jeff Hardy just shits all over.
Within weeks of that, could have been wrestling The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Yep. And should have.
And should have. That's right. Absolutely.
But
didn't happen that way.
Well, at the same time, I feel like having Sting there as the guy to be able to take the belt for a little while with Jeff screwing up probably helped save that company.
But when you look at the roster at the time and how, once again, like I said twice before, they did not build any homegrown talent. And the money was starting to run out at this point. They were starting. The meeting had begun big time.
Well, that's
at
because
this point.
they took a hook to the rib cage and signed Hulk Hogan to a big contract.
And the Nasty Boys, and Bischoff, and
Yeah.
Bubba Love Sponge, and Jimmy Hart. What a terrible.
I feel like this is as good as time as any to jump in and clarify that while I hate Hogan and Bischoff, for me, this was my peak TNA.
Wow.
This was my favorite time as a fan watching it. I loved it. This is my favorite Victory Road out of the 5. I'll say it right now. I give it a 4.5 out of 5.
So
Wow.
when did you get off of methamphetamine? Yesterday?
Shut up, Juggalo.
I'm not saying it was like peak, cinema or whatever you want to call it. But for TNA, for me as a fan and a viewer, this was the time I was watching weekly. I was hooked. I was enjoying it. It wasn't all great. There was bad, but I enjoyed it during that time. So
you can accept that it was car crash television, but you were fine.
For sure. Listen, like I said, I hated Hogan and Bischoff, so most of that shit with them, I couldn't stand it.
Ink.
Yeah, man.
Ink was around.
Okay.
I loved Shannon Moore, but Jesse Neal was
Look,
terrible.
I wanted to shoe in Victory Road 2009 just for Jenna Morosco because I know how much Juice loves celebrity appearances in wrestling.
He sure does.
So the show kicks off with Bully Belair coming out, calling himself the biggest, the baddest, the toughest, the roughest, and found that very interesting. Jumping on Bianca Belair's gimmick 10 years early, but who am I? And then we get Bianca. I did it again. Bully. We get Bully versus Tommy Dreamer now in a hardcore match or whatever it was. And can I say I popped big time for the minion foreign object?
Yes.
And they use the huge minion as a weapon.
That's right.
Thought that was awesome for the universal crowd.
He does kind of look like Tommy Dreamer.
Tommy Dreamer's on the show. Yeah, Tommy Dreamer's on the show. I always liked Dreamer. Not so much like anymore, like now wrestling. Like, it's okay, maybe stop. But at his core, I like Dreamer.
He had a lot of heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Dreamer.
He was fun to watch.
Yeah, so I enjoyed the opener. I was also surprised to see Dreamer win it, but I enjoyed it.
I had the complete opposite reaction.
And that's fine. Listen, this is what wrestling's all about.
This opening match, and like I said, I completely understand like the nostalgia side of it and everything. You saying that this was the time that you were watching the most and enjoying it the most. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was I tried to give it another chance when Dreamer brought out that giant minion.
Yes.
I tried to look past it. And then the blow up doll showed up.
Oh,
now what the hell?
Look, these are two guys. They had beaten each other's brains in across the country with every weapon under the sun. The fact that they were selling minions and blow up dolls, yet they both want to shit talk modern wrestling at points is hilarious.
And I love that Taz thought it was SpongeBob. He's like, "What is that?"
Who is that?
He had no clue.
It's SquarePants Jones.
I also thought the whole like Devon Sons just coming out and standing there like that just felt like like it's fine that they came out, but like do something, like have someone come and attack them more. Like
Aldous Snow in here.
Aldous Snow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, and can we talk about? I think I didn't clarify in my notes what match it was, but I think it was this one. So I'm pretty sure this was the no DQ match. But why was there a rope break in a no DQ match?
Because they don't know the rules to their own matches.
This is TNA Victory Road.
They did a rope break. I was like, what the shit? Like, what?
The ref probably had no clue what type of match it was at all.
Honestly, they probably just didn't tell him, or he was too high to remember.
I mean, the only stipulation on the match was false count anywhere.
Yeah,
maybe it's false count. Okay. Still, though, I would imagine.
If false count anywhere, then the rope shouldn't break it up.
Except the sacred rope.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But you can do it
in TNA.
You can pin him in the crowd, but you can't pin him under the rope. Don't you dare let him get a rope break.
If you're fighting at the concession stand, you can do it at the counter.
Right.
But you can't do it in line because they got ropes.
That's true. They have ropes there.
You can't pin somebody in line at the concession stand.
And that
I
would-
want to see somebody use that now. Where's Joey Janela? So, anyways, then we had a pretty horrible knockout tag team match
Yes,
Yup.
Rosita and Sarita.
against Angelina Love and Winter, because this was when Winter was like hypnotizing Angelina.
Right. This is after Winter came from WWE and did an incest angle with Paul Burchill.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
wasn't this a little bit before the actual hypnotizing?
Yeah, this was like,
This might have been the start of the storyline.
Yeah, like I don't think she was like fully like entranced or whatever yet, but it was coming.
no, she wasn't her follower quite yet. She wasn't her puppet yet. They
Yeah,
were still
Now,
trying to be
at
friends.
this point, was Rosita and Sarita still representing Mexican America? Had that happened yet with Hernandez and Chavo Guerrero? Or no?
I don't know if they were with them, but they definitely were doing the heel shtick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe they weren't with them just yet.
I don't know because they got on the mic and did the whole like
No, they had the bang bang music. So they
Okay.
were doing the LAX shtick at that point.
Okay.
Well, the only note I have written down about this match, I kind of brought it up in our chat, was horny. This was just horny Taz in full effect. Like
Yeah.
he called Rosita and Sarita like hot like 3 times during the entrance. Kept calling them like a little chili pepper. Like any word you could think of in the book. So it's just
Jerry Lawler.
very telling of the times how different now. Like
Liz
you hear that,
definitely
it's
was
like,
kind of out
wow.
horny Jerry Lawler at the time.
Speaking of hot,
Yeah.
you could all take a visit down and see Hot Donna in Greenville, Tennessee at Green Hemp Company. Monday through Saturday, they're open 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sundays, they're open noon until 6 p.m. You can also reach out to them at greenhempcompany@gmail.com. They're located in the foothills of the Smokies, and they can give you some quality THC and Delta 8 products.
That's
9,
right.
10, all the fun stuff.
I have a question. Do they deliver to the Northeast?
Perhaps you would have to email them and ask.
Oh, okay. I was just asking for
If
it. I was asking,
Company at gmail.com.
If honestly, if they if it's legal there, then yes, they'll ship it up there.
well, I'm based out of New York, so I was asking for any Northeast listeners that may be tuned in via my
fair
end.
enough.
All right.
All right.
But she's a good friend with a good company.
Yep.
So yeah,
Cool.
it's
Good
a
friend of Teal 5 Wrestling.
Yeah,
All right.
just like
Yep.
Magic Vapor Shop, they're a good friend of Till 5 Wrestling.
Magic Vapor Shop at www.magicvaporshop.
.com.
What a
There you
plug.
go. 8 locations to get your fix. Hey, Jerry, come on in and say hi to one of your cool Magic Vapor Shop representatives. You come to London, you might even see me. You might
Yeah.
even see me
You can
5
see
days a
just
week.
10 Incredible.
5 days a week.
You might even see me.
Or 4 days a week, depends on how
So
many.
is the first blood match up next?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, the first blood match where Hernandez squirts ketchup on the guy
Yeah.
to win.
Awful.
Oh,
Jesus.
that was garbage.
Stupid too.
Like the whole crowd went silent. They were like, even they were like, what the hell? Like, not good. Not- and I have to ask, like that fan running in during the match, that screamed like Bischoff planned it, like get the crowd. Like I think it was planned, right? Like it did not look.
It seemed that way. I don't know for sure if
Yeah.
it was or wasn't, but it definitely seemed that way.
Like what a weird thing to do, but that just
They
screamed
never
Bischoff.
cut
to
it
me.
out of the
Yeah,
the stream
broadcast.
later on. You know, in the rewatch,
Yep.
it's still there.
Yeah.
So, but that match I didn't enjoy. The next match was the TNA X Division Ultimate X match
Yeah.
with Jeremy Buck and Max Buck, who of course became the Young Bucks. Robbie E with Cookie. Oh my God, I hated that storyline so much. And then Kazarian, who was always around in TNA.
I mean,
Yeah,
he
Yeah.
probably did a sweet leg drop.
yeah. If I'm not
Everywhere.
mistaken, hasn't he been in the most X Division matches more than anyone else?
Either him or Saban.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got to be one of the two.
Yeah.
I would imagine it's Kaz because Saban did more main events. Saban
Yeah.
did more main events. Than
Yeah. I always liked Robbie E. I never liked Cookie, but as a wrestler and just a talent, I was entertained by Robbie E.
I hated the storyline. I hated the gimmick. I never was a fan of the Jersey Shore. That never was my thing at all.
He was meant to be goofy and like that. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I don't know.
I enjoyed the Jersey Shore for what it was. You know, the fist pumping like a champ. Yeah.
Yeah. But Generation Max instead of Generation Me.
Yep.
And it didn't work out. $4.
Well, was it Jeremy that said he was going to win the title because it was his birthday, and Max was like, I'm going to make sure that happens?
Well, no, it was the other. Well, Generation Max. So Max was the one that was like, I'm going to win. And Jeremy was all like, okay. So I don't know if it was a birthday thing, but maybe it was Max's birthday. I don't know.
There was one of them that was their whole point of, I'm going to win because it's my birthday. So I guess.
Well, then maybe it was Jeremy, and then like Max stepped in and said no. Like,
I'm assuming that Max is now Matt or Matthew or.
I couldn't even recall.
That would make the most sense.
I'm pretty sure that Matt is Matt.
Yeah, Max is Matt.
Yeah.
Jeremy is Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Well, that brings us to the TNA World Tag Team Title match. Beer Money once again versus Inc. The worst tag team of that era, in my opinion. And I did enjoy Shannon Moore. Jesse Neal was one of the greenest wrestlers I've ever seen on live TV.
Fair enough.
Wait, what?
Jesse Neal was terrible.
Oh, okay. I thought you said one of the best. I was like, wait.
No, one of the greenest.
One of the greenest. I thought you said greatest.
Green Hemp Company.
Not Green Hemp Company.
Yeah. I'm 100% with you. I like Shannon Moore. Did not like Jesse Neal. Did not care for Inc. I didn't write anything about this match. I didn't care for it at all. So if anybody else
basically said Shannon Moore has tattoos, and so does Jesse Neal. Well,
and they can have mohawks together.
They both have mohawks and tattoos. Let's stick them in a group. That'll work.
Yeah.
That's literally all that I have written in my notes is that they have crazy mohawks.
Yeah. Mohawks and tattoos.
Well, and then Christina Von Eerie ends up joining him, and she's got a green faux hawk.
She's sort of got a mohawk going on. Yeah.
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 Oh, what are we doing?
She was dating Jesse Neal at that time, I think. So she got put with the group too.
Terrible.
Speaking of terrible, shout out to our good friend Scott Williams at his Hard Times auctions with wrestling autographs.
Hard Times Collectibles. Check them out if you need any sort of wrestling memorabilia whatsoever.
Reach out to Scott Williams, Hard Times.
Does weekly auctions. Sometimes
you'll see some of his autographs on our walls occasionally.
Yep. Most of this is from Scott.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We shout out friends. It's what we do here. It's like Sharpshooters on Twitch. You should make sure to check out them. Subscribe.
Yeah, we're over on Twitch. Check us out. We have Twitch.
Go check out Wrestling Society Network. Go check them out.
Go see the professor.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he'll pretend to play a wrestling game and entertain people for hours, or at least entertain himself. You know,
that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Bunch of wrestling dorks. So, Kim, what do you have to hawk to us? That sounded wrong.
No, what?
Hashtag that will get more viewers on this episode.
What do you have to hawk to us? As in, what do you have to advertise?
I am a part of a monthly women's roundtable on a page here on Facebook called Follow the Revolution. We are mostly, the page itself does like the page itself talks about like various promotions from time to time, but it's mostly AEW based. So when we do our monthly roundtables, we're talking about like typically the most recent AEW pay-per-view and whatnot. So come and check that out. Follow the Revolution.
I didn't know y'all had Stephanie McMahon on there.
She's Stephanie McMaggard.
She started women's wrestling, so.
Not Stephanie McMaggard. That's really funny.
Do you guys do your show the same nighttime every month, or?
No, it does vary. It just depends on when all of us are available because it's 5 women and then a guy who like heads it all, but he usually drops off and lets the women do the show.
Yeah.
But I believe
I could be like, women talking entertainment.
All right, well, I'll look for your page. I'll definitely follow you.
Absolutely.
Yes. He will follow the revolution. And
I hope to see all of these people until 5 more often.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. This is fun.
This
is
fun.
what wrestling should be.
Wrestling is fun.
Yes.
Sometimes.
But you know what else is
you
fun?
You know what else was really fun at this point? Cold-blooded Matt Hardy. With his dreadlock hair.
That wasn't fun at all.
I loved that because it was so awful.
That wasn't fun at all.
Oh, it was a blast.
I forgot he was with Rick.
I had forgotten that. Yeah.
I forgot he was with, and I watched during that time. Like, I forgot he was with Rick for a bit. I don't know how long he was with him, but like, I don't know. But that being said,
at least for 16 minutes and 35 seconds, according to Cage Match.
Yeah, but that being said, I love the match.
Yeah, that might be the best match on the card.
Surprise! AJ Styles had the best match on the TNA card.
Hey, Hardy was no slouch, man. Matt was great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you been talking to my wife again?
I like the spot with him. I always love the spot that he used to do when he slid under the guardrail like that.
Yep.
And then pop back up for the forearm to the inside.
Yeah.
So, always nice to see that.
So
obviously
AJ
can't do it
gets a
anymore.
win
But
my favorite wrestler at the time of this pay-per-view in the next match, Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Taking on Rob Van Dam. I loved Mr. Anderson a lot.
Fun fact, I did have one of his asshole hats.
Really?
And that's
that
kind of
perfect on you.
That's kind of where my original asshole Aaron nickname started.
So you infringed Ken Anderson.
Well, all of my friends were like, "That hat fits you perfect, man." This is
you are a bit of an asshole for sure.
Yeah, and even Andrew Lincoln made an autograph out to me to Aaron the asshole.
Yeah,
that was my gimmick for a while. Now I'm just notorious.
Just write a book and get all these stories out.
I've gone a step down.
Put yourself over.
Look,
everything.
I'm putting myself over on the podcast, okay? So I don't have to write stuff down.
You really are the Hogan of podcasting.
People don't read
nowadays,
brother.
Disgusting.
Okay? God.
Disgusting.
That is such an insult, and I'm here for
it. Look, I'm not Hogan, okay?
You, the Hogan of podcasting, I said.
No, I'm not the Hogan of podcasting.
I think that works out since I'm the Flair of podcasting. You are Hogan.
Well, I thought Anderson RVD was solid.
Yeah, but it went to a double count out, and that was really disappointing.
I was gonna say, obviously, the finish didn't really help, but
yeah,
I hate a double count out.
Match at that.
Yeah,
I think Anderson was so overrated.
Whoa.
The only thing that he had was the mic gimmick. He did some of his wrestling. It was just like, I'd rather go stick my head in the toilet than to watch Anderson wrestle.
I like Anderson.
I don't know, man. He put out some good stuff with Angle. Like when I know it's Angle, so it's easy to like wrestle with him. But like, he had a good stuff with. I remember with like the dog tags, and for a while they feuded. I like this stuff with Sting. Like, I don't know. I mean, listen, I get it. He's not like A++, but I
really loved the Jeff Hardy cracking him in the back of the head and being like, "I'll give concussions and shit like that for free." This era of Anderson was great.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I guess it's just the carryover from WWE that I didn't like him there, and then it was just I don't know what it really was that rubbed me the wrong way about him, but is it
because his name was Mr. and not Professor?
No, because he only had one gimmick.
Professor
Henderson.
Professor Not a Man
from Green Bay, Wisconsin. The man, Mr. Anderson.
I enjoyed Mr. Anderson. I really did.
Yeah. So now the main event.
All right, look.
I know we briefly touched on it, but by all means.
What more is there to say?
I'm not going to beat this dead horse. I hope that Jeff has gotten over his demons. Yeah. I hope that he has finally gotten himself straightened out. The match was awful.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Sting just went ahead and ended it. I'm glad that Bischoff made the call to end it. He should have never let him out there.
That's my thing.
That's the problem in the first place. Is
exactly.
Bad management allowed that match to go on in the first.
Never should have let him out there.
Agreed.
And you could have easily had Sting come out and make that double count out number one contenders match a triple threat.
Or anything. They could have said he got jumped in the back by whoever's going to replace him and let him go.
Yeah.
But no, here's what I'm trying to. I didn't look it up. I'll be honest. Here's what I'm trying to remember though. Didn't he Couldn't they not find him throughout the show? Like they didn't know.
Like 10 minutes before.
Yeah, they made it the angle that they couldn't find him.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, yeah, you couldn't find him, but if they didn't know until 10 minutes beforehand what condition he was in, they couldn't really do anything in terms of your scenario with Anderson and RVD.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about it.
Ring to be like, hey, stop this shit right now. This is what you're gonna do. That quick of a call, they could have done literally anything else.
Exactly. And my thing is, you've seen how he was in the gorilla. You've seen how he was. Easily get your ass back in the back.
Get your ass out of here. Yeah.
No, I know. I'm only saying if it really was like a 10-minute thing, you could have done anything with Anderson and RVD. That's all I'm saying.
No. And I get that point. But you can I mean, they have to come up with stuff on the fly all the time. Yeah. They could have easily put anybody in that spot and came up with any BS reason why he wasn't there. I just think that, to me, it showed professionalism. It shows that they really didn't care, because if they cared so much, they would have never let him go out looking like that. That craps on your company.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Shame.
And I really hated it for TNA that it happened.
Yeah.
Because the company had potential, but Dixie Carter didn't have the backbone to take care of a situation at that point, and she didn't put somebody in charge to do it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're seeing right now with AEW, or what we did see with AEW a year ago, was very much the same situation.
Well, unfortunately, I have to rate that one a 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, the whole TNA giving out 6 free months of their video on demand service after that, I just when you do things like that, it's just sometimes I feel like just move on. Just let it be, and let everyone address that this was a really shitty scenario and situation. You fumbled the ball a little bit. Move on from it. I feel like it's not always best to placate the situation.
So did they give that away to pay-per-view buyers or everybody?
Anybody who bought it.
Yeah, pay-per-view buyers, I thought.
Yeah, because you had to send a screenshot of your bill to get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was there.
I also had that show. I remember that.
Yeah.
I bought that, and I think I used to keep a binder of my ratings for wrestling matches that I watched, and I remember giving that one a 1 star out of 5.
I tell you what, the one thing I definitely thought that Sting, you knew Sting was legitimately pissed, and he muffled Jeff, because Jeff was not about to, he wasn't going out like that. And Sting was like, "Oh, you are not moving."
Well, on the ramp at the end of the match, when the fans were chanting bullshit, Sting said, "Oh, I agree."
Oh,
yeah, he knew. He was mad.
Oh yeah, he that professional. No matter what kind of wrestling, you got to have some form of professionalism, and that was such a shot against every wrestler who went out there and legitimately worked and could have gotten hurt. Anything that was so bad, and
it was not great. And
final thoughts on 2011. Anybody?
I try not to think about it.
That's kind of where I'm at. Aaron, Kim?
No.
Good.
I just want to clarify my 4.5 out of 5. Sorry, what was that, Kim? Sorry, you go.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say my 4.5 out of 5 stands, but make it clear, obviously, this is a TNA scale of 1 through 5. Not like wrestling pay-per-views out of 5. Because if I was doing that, it'd be lower. But out of TNA, what we're doing tonight, 4.5 out of 5. That's all.
All right. Kim?
What do you give it?
Am I frozen, or did everyone else just freeze?
We're just
I
watching.
think, I think we're frozen on
Good.
your end.
Okay. My rating of 2011, a 1. I'm
Oh,
right there with y'all. It was not good.
Yeah.
oh.
Yep.
All right. Well, that brings us to a show that if it wasn't for a sloppy, drug addicted idiot in the main event, this show would have been worse. If Eddie Edwards had showed up to the main event of 2020 hammered, this show would have been worse than 2011 by far.
Look, at this point in wrestling, you could have gotten away with anything.
I honestly,
It
man,
was 2020. WWE was doing their underground garbage.
They had ninjas running around.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I'll start by saying that you have the worst commentary team in the history of wrestling, Josh Matthews and Madison Rayne on the call.
Yeah.
Josh Matthews, the most uninteresting commentator that has ever existed, maybe besides Matt Stryker.
Oh,
Maybe besides Matt Stryker.
taking a shot at my boy Striker.
I was gonna say I wouldn't insult Matt like that.
Yeah, I like Striker.
I never was a fan of Stryker at all.
That's fine. I understand. A lot of people don't like him.
I've
but I
had
do.
the displeasure of meeting Josh Matthews and Madison Rayne
Yeah.
a couple of times. Matthews is really like anti-fans.
Really?
Yeah, because there were some at a.
Well, he definitely doesn't have many, so I
They-
no
it was-
issue.
It was an Impact Wrestling NGW show.
Oh,
Yeah, they did. It was Under Siege. It was on Impact Plus. Speaking of NGW, great wrestling show in Knoxville, Tennessee
That's right.
area, and you can see some of their shows on the Hot Spots Network.
while you're there, go bear hunting.
Yeah,
Go bear hunting while you're in Knoxville.
go bear hunting in
Yeah.
Knoxville.
I wouldn't recommend it for you, but you can try.
I hear you can find him at McKay's Used Books and CDs.
Yeah, possible.
We're just putting over everything we like.
There you go.
What? I didn't see it. Oh, yeah. McKay,
So
what
you-
was that, like $3?
Nah, 10, but that just lets you know you've been watching me if you know I'm going to McKay's.
That's why we go to Knoxville, Professor Bear.
That is our first stop, and then we head over to Denton's and get us an orange Julius.
Or we go to that sweet Chinese restaurant that we
So I
went
just want to point out that for the 2020 show, I watched it during the pandemic only because it was during the pandemic and I was desperate for any sort of connection to anything, and as we all were. But I did not watch this show again. Anything prior to the final 3 matches I thought was terrible.
Yeah.
I have no notes about it, so I cannot contribute except I will say it sucks. So by all means, until the final 3, I will lay out until I need to move it along, but y'all can go.
I will say this: AC Romero and Larry D. I really liked their match with the Rascals. They have the 2 big chunky guys against the little flippy guys. That was fun.
Yeah, no, not for me. Sorry, I don't like AC.
I did like AC. I enjoyed that, seeing the 2 big guys let them bounce around off each other.
We talked about that earlier. AC was actually pretty good.
I wasn't a big
liked AC.
fan of Brian Myers and Tommy Dreamer because that match is very meh.
Yeah.
Kim was messaging me about women's wrestling, so we just went ahead and took her off for a little bit. Because I don't want to hear that garbage stunt. Then we had Willie Mack against
Rohit Raju, who I actually am a fan of. I really liked Rohit.
I can't stand either of them. That's the problem. That's my problem with like TNA in the recent years. A lot of talent on there now. I just don't like. Yeah. Sorry.
Professor Bear, are you familiar with Willie Mack?
Yes, I am. I remember when Willie won the NWA national title.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge. I know you're not a big like modern wrestling as much guy. I never was a big Willie Mack fan. I remember watching him in NWA Hollywood.
Yeah.
I think it was. Wasn't a big fan of that.
And she's back.
My internet is wanting to be real crappy right now, so
And it destroyed the placement of the
You
show.
know what? You know what? That's fine because you showed up.
Just
Your internet's being crappy just in time to talk about Tennille Dashwood and Jordan Grace at the 2020 Impact match.
So I see I didn't miss much.
No,
No, not really.
we just skipped over Willie Mack. That
Yeah.
was about it.
Okay, fair enough, honestly.
Yeah.
That whole match was stupid.
Yeah. Thank you.
The only thing I have notated for the women's single match is that Dashwood did a cool butterfly suplex.
Yeah, Dashwood was pretty good. She was very injury prone, but she was pretty good.
Mm.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I like
God,
Tennille.
Professor Bear Stalker is here.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
What up, Russ?
Rusty Roman.
Yeah, I
Rusty
like
Roman
Tennille.
Reigns.
I don't really care for Jordan Grace though. Never cared for her.
Really? I'm a fan.
She's fine. I feel like she is way overhyped. Like,
I agree.
She's mid.
way overhyped.
Definitely.
I agree. I can agree with that. Yeah, I can give you she's not bad. I just don't like her, but she's definitely over her. Like
That's
I liked her
they go
the
together.
pre-steroids, to be honest.
well, yeah.
She's no different than Camille to me. There's not a lot of difference
Steroids?
there.
What?
Honestly, yeah,
Yeah.
I can get that.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to Heathen Rhino versus Reno Scum. God.
Reno Scum are the most random pop-ups in TNA because
They were out of money. They brought in XXXL. They brought in freaking Reno Scum.
Ugh.
well, they had
Ugh.
Reno Scum showed up during the Global Force Wrestling days
Right.
for like 2 minutes. Then one of them got hurt, so they disappeared.
Granted, as a job tag team, which they really weren't in TNA. I don't hate them. I thought they were okay.
I can't remember what federation I saw them wrestling, and I was like, not bad for a constant tag team. They're constantly tagging. I didn't find them bad, but I wouldn't put them out like in my top 25 or anything like that.
No, they're no different than like a Butcher and the Blade.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's a perfect way of putting it.
Yeah,
Fair.
they're just kind of there.
And unfortunately, also just kind of there at that point in TNA was Trey Miguel.
Yeah, who hadn't quite broke through yet, as good as he would become.
Trey Miguel is a great performer. They tossed him in there with Moose. It was a good match, fun match.
I love Moose.
Yeah, they were just
Yeah,
putting Moose to random matches until they gave him a world title run again.
yeah, that's typically what they do because there's just not a lot to do storyline wise in TNA even now.
Fair enough.
With a roster of 30 and 4 belts, there's not a lot you can do.
Sometimes I get a little frustrated with interference.
I absolutely do.
And this was one of those cases where I was like, EC3, stay the fuck backstage. It really I get it needs to happen to get over the small guy sometimes, but in cases like this, like when you compare Trey Miguel to Moose, there should not be any instance in my mind where a one-on-one match of any kind, even with interference, that Moose isn't winning.
Why couldn't we have booked EC3 against Trey Miguel, which arguably would have looked better visually?
Yeah.
And then have Moose come out at the end of it
And attack EC3.
and attack EC3.
Yeah, that would make
Honestly,
sense.
that would have made so much more sense.
Yeah.
And then you have, like the whole like Moose running back to the production truck and then like getting attacked again by EC3. It's just.
But again, this is easy. I was about to say ECW. This is TNA thinking. They have to do different things to be different. And they're hey, let's throw it against the wall. If it's stick, we can run with it. If not, nobody's going to remember it anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
that's kind of what every wrestling company does at a certain point.
And that's
ratings
kinda
start to dip.
what the next match decided to do on pay-per-view. Instead of just doing an 8-man tag match, they did a fatal 4-way between Josh Alexander, Ace Austin, Alex Shelley, and Carl Anderson.
Well, that makes sense because
That's the best worker out of everything.
Well, I agree.
yeah, but I don't know if you guys were watching weekly in 2020 or just watching the pay-per-view.
I was not watching weekly at that point.
So a thing to keep in mind with most of these pay-per-views, particularly 2020, this was like weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks before Bound for Glory.
Mhm.
So this show was kind of an afterthought, really. This wasn't really
the B show.
This wasn't the full-fledged pay-per-view like we're used to getting back then.
This was the countdown to Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
TNA does their B-tier specials on TNA Plus.
Right.
This show wasn't that.
Road became.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So a lot of these next 3 matches, while they were good, they were predictable because like their challengers were already set for Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like this 4-way was going to be a 4-way tag title match at Bound for Glory. This was just the sneak peek.
Yeah.
That's why
Right.
You could have done the 8-man tag like you were talking. Or honestly, I would have liked to have seen them decide to put like Josh Alexander and Carl Anderson against Alex Shelley and Ace Austin.
Well,
Something weird like that.
And here's the thing that bugged me about this one. It's like, you want it's a fatal 4-way. I don't like 4-ways or multi-mans when you have in tags. Like, why are you tagging in and out for a 4-way? Like,
right.
All 4 of them are in there at once. That's it. The whole tag in, tag out. I don't like it. So you basically got your tag match.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
But it should have just been 4-way just go at it. But it's still a good match though.
You're not very high on this 4-way.
I'm not very high on that 4-way, but I am high on the best women's wrestling match of the entire run of Victory Roads up to this point. Deonna Purrazzo versus Susie. I thought that was fine. I really enjoyed that match. That was fun.
The one thing I learned about Deonna Purrazzo is she's an excellent wrestler.
Yeah, she is.
I think WWE really dropped the ball on her.
I think AEW has really dropped the ball on Deonna Purrazzo.
She came in and got stale so fast.
Absolutely.
But
I will say, as great of a wrestler as she is, she can't talk for the life of her.
That's true. That's going to hold her back in a place like WWE.
Well, you can only go so far. Like for me, at least, when she does promos, she always sounds like she's about to cry.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
And I can't get past that.
Well, and that's where I would want them to come back with more managers. That art of managers to speak for your people.
Yeah.
Is missing.
And I could easily be a manager for women's wrestling. I'll be like, look, she moans and groans better than any other bimbo that I've seen compete.
Whoa!
Pulled out the bimbo. Jesus Christ.
Jesus, man. It's not 1953. You can't just throw that around.
Now, that being said, in reference to this match, something that I did start off my notes with, I said that Kimberly was being a dumb hoe.
I hate Kimberly.
Bimbo is too far. Bimbo is too far. Bimbo is all right.
You're saying that she was kind of a bimbo. Just saying.
You know, I might actually agree with you a little bit.
It's a win.
That's a win.
The women are agreeing with me now.
That won't last long.
Yeah.
I'm giving you an inch. Don't take a mile.
We're not doing that. Fair. Take it. Take your W and move on.
Right? We know you're not going to get many, so you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, I'm going to get W's against her, and I'm going to get one against you too, old man. So deal with it.
We'll see.
I don't know. Can you see? I mean, if we do
it. Wait a minute. So,
yeah.
4 to 5 people got glasses on, and you're going to talk about me.
I'm actually supposed to be wearing glasses. I'm supposed to be wearing glasses right now.
Well, you're the one with all the gray hair. So you're the old man here. That's how it works.
Your point is what?
What was that reference you made earlier?
So the main event.
So the main event.
Main event.
Eddie Edwards.
Eric Young and Eddie Edwards had a really good match.
Eddie Edwards is one of my least favorite singles wrestlers of all time. I can't stand Eddie Edwards.
I used to really like the American Wolves.
I did too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Eddie Edwards has become garbage.
Yeah, he has.
So I still like Eddie, but it's sad to make this comparison, but I get it. He's basically become a modern day Tommy Dreamer.
Yes.
And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Like I still like Eddie.
The worst
that's
part
fair,
is,
actually.
I never thought Eddie could cut a promo to save his life. He's a horrible promo.
We can have good ones. Him and Strong are kind of the same in that regard. They
Yeah,
get their-
Strong, I'll give you that. As much as I love Roddy, he's never been a great promo either.
The best thing Roddy has ever done is repeating somebody's name loud. That's it.
Adam!
I don't want to go down this Roddy hole because I
That's-
don't know.
That's what she said.
Get him out.
Anyways,
Okay.
what do we give that match out of 5 or that show out of 5, folks?
1.
I'll give it a 2.
I was about to say 2.5.
I
Yeah.
think it's a 3.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 1.
Good shit, Juice. That's what I'm saying.
That
Edward's
is fair.
downfall was when he hit Sammy in the face with the bat by accident. Yeah, that wasn't great.
I feel like that was probably accurate.
Yeah. You know, I'm giving this one a 1. Honestly, the last 3 matches were good, but even then, like, that just saved it. And no
They weren't
crowd.
good enough to
Like-
redeem the rest of the show for me.
No crowd. Like, no
And-
matter how
and
great
I was
the show
about
you
to-
put on.
I was gonna say any pandemic
Yeah,
matches are real rough to
it's hard.
judge.
Now,
I get like flashbacks to WWE with all of the electronic
Thunderdome.
fans. Yeah.
Oh, and how great
I
they
get back
were
to
by
messaging this guy.
letting people put like Benoit's face up and swastikas. I was like, wow.
I did the Thunderdome twice, I think.
That was such an odd
It was.
experience. Watching wrestling in the pandemic was torture. It was like a weird dystopian society that we woke up into. It
You
was
know
very
what, though?
weird.
It was all we really had, man. It was.
Yeah, I know.
And
That's the only thing we had.
Yeah.
The best thing that came out of that was the tribal chief.
The Hurt Business, I thought, was
Oh,
the
yeah. Well,
one out of the
I
pandemic.
stand corrected.
Yeah.
Stand corrected.
But also
Right.
the Bloodline, I agree. Tribal Chief.
So, time for 2024. This
In the
past
home
one
stretch.
happened about a month ago, not even.
Did we get together for this one?
I
Okay.
did not watch this live. I did not watch this at all. I am giving it a 0 out of 5 / not applicable.
Wow, he's
I,
out of
I,
this.
I played nice on the last card and didn't bring it up, but I cannot stand Moose. I hate him.
Wow.
And
I can understand. I can truly understand why.
I cannot support him as champion. And also another one I cannot stand. I have to put it out there. Cannot stand AJ Francis, aka
Nope.
Flick.
Oh
Yes.
God!
I'm with you. I hate
Um,
AJ Francis.
Like the two of them are a big reason why I backed out because I stopped watching TNA like January, February of this year. So I'm like just fresh out on no patience for it. So sorry, I did not watch this one at all. I have no thoughts.
That's
0 out
actually
of
one of
5.
the few notes that I had from this show was what in the hell is AJ Francis wearing?
Yeah, AJ Francis just does not do it. He never has.
He's an
No.
asshole.
This is the one thing I would give AJ Francis. He's smart enough to take all the hate and crap that is thrown his way, and he's taking it and ran with it to make a name for himself.
He's got
Unless
nothing
That's
else.
I mean, he's not a great wrestler. I never will say that, but he's taking that gimmick of, you know, you're gonna hate me. Let me make you hate me more. So I can give him props for that. That's the only thing I can say about him positively.
To me, Francis doesn't have much of a choice. Unless he wants to take an entire career change, he's going to be the most hated guy on the card, no matter what company you put him in. He's
I don't
terrible.
know.
And he might as well get them checks.
Flop Dollar can go home.
As
far
long
I'm
as the check,
concerned.
if
I'm
the
not
checks aren't
interested.
bouncing, then keep doing it.
And quick plug over on the Sharpshooters YouTube channel. A few months ago, we did a worst wrestler of all time tournament, and AJ Francis won.
Wow. Hey, that's great.
Worst
He
wrestler.
beat. Wait a minute. He beat Eric Watts.
I don't think Watts was in there, but
How can you have a worse wrestler than not have Eric?
I
I
believe
think
he
it's
beat
Steven.
Goldberg in
I'm
the
saying that
finals.
Eric
I
Watts
cannot
is a
recall.
better wrestler than AJ Francis right now.
The Kiss
But-
Demon worked circles around AJ Francis.
He did. He did.
Ralphus worked circles
Man.
around freaking AJ Francis.
So yep, that's all I got.
Sir Ralphus.
And with Moose, I can understand why you don't like Moose, and it's easy to not like Moose, but I like him because he put the time in to learn the craft. Moose has been wrestling so long, and he's gotten progressively better that I like that about him.
Yep, absolutely.
I will say I've really turned the corner on Moose. I wasn't sure about him the first time I saw him, but the more that I've seen him and the growth that he's made, I like him even more.
Yeah, I really like Moose. He just cannot cut a promo. TNA seems to really have that problem.
Well, yeah. And the thing with his promo, you can't understand it because of he has a worse list than Cody.
Yeah, he does.
But I give him props because even when he stutters, he will put it into his promo, and he just keeps going. And that's just with learning the craft. And I guess that's why I like him, because he hadn't gave up, and he could have easily did like most wrestlers who come from other sports and could just leave. He just stood there and he was in Ring of Honor. He's gone around. And I mean, when the WWE is looking to sign you, you've done something.
I remember seeing Moose working a Global Force Wrestling show in Bowling Green, Kentucky back in the day. Like for Jeff Jarrett's company when he was trying to.
There's that awesome name again, Kim. Jeff Jarrett. Remember that. JEFFJARRETT Jeff Jarrett.
So
well, I will never be back on this show again.
So I have a signed Jeff Jarrett turnbuckle that he personalized, and he misspelled my first name.
Jeff Jarrett's right there with us because he is my hero.
And he's also on this big print.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I saw Moose at the Global Force show, Jeff Jarrett show, and he actually came down where me and my ex-wife was sitting. And I thought to myself, you're not as big as I thought. Jesus, I'm as big as you.
That's what your wife said too.
So what else happened on Bound for Victory Road?
I'm sorry.
Wait, Juice boxed the opportunity because I knew he would.
You got to come back in, and he don't even have any damn opinions on this show.
Francis and Casey Navarro. Okay, whatever. I can totally do without the Hardys in 2024 too. Count that out for me. I'm done.
Wait, that's a good question.
Retired.
Yes.
Lisp, Cody, Swagger, or Moose.
I'm gonna go with Swagger.
Swagger's bad.
That's Swagger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Swagger, totally.
So next we get to me, I think the best match on the card, the X Division title match.
We're putting Kim to sleep.
Mike Bailey versus Zach Wentz. We're putting me to sleep. I'm trying to get through this damn card.
You
put together kind of a rough batch of shows to be going through.
It's Victory Road. Tell me another TNA pay-per-view other than Bound for Glory.
I don't know. We could have done something. We could have definitely done Bound for
5 years that were good.
Slammiversary.
Yeah.
There's been 5 years of Victory Road. You could have done Slammiversary for sure. Yeah. Lockdown.
I mean, then we need to get Juice in for consultations next time.
We will, because this is
no.
good.
The only way that somebody's going to be able to pick our next show will be if they beat me in a trivia contest.
Oh.
Well, that's going to be easy.
Well, I tell you what, you pick the venue. We'll do a trivia contest, me and you, and then the winner will pick the Till 5 roundtable for January.
Okay.
Because we've already set up for a death match one with Wiggy. She's definitely going to be there with us. So we're getting ready for that. But Professor Bear, I'm going to beat you in trivia, and then we're going to cover the Insane Clown Posse in January.
I think I'm actually going to have to call into that one now. I think I'll be there.
You better be rooting for the Bear then, buddy.
Oh, I will be. Believe me. So Mike Bailey and Zachary wins. Awesome match. Mike Bailey reclaimed the X Division title on that one.
No, Rusty, you won't.
That's pretty biased. Next, we go into the Knockouts Tag Title match. Danny Loon and Jody Threat versus Masha Slamovich and Tasha Steeles, who replaced Alicia Edwards. But Alicia Edwards was still with them for some reason because, once again, we are watching TNA.
Yeah.
And that's how it's going to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have no notes on that one besides title change.
Now we're getting to a point that I actually want to talk about Joe Hendry and Josh Alexander. I think that Josh Alexander is one of the best workers today, but I think that Joe Hendry is at the peak of his career for the next 6 months, and he'll never be relevant again after that.
Wow.
I do not believe in Joe Hendry.
I'm surprised he's relevant now.
I believe in Joe Hendry, guys.
I understand it. It's a fad, and he will be in WWE, and then you will get to see how much they believe in Joe Hendry.
What is he, Scottish?
Yeah.
Okay, he's Scottish Fandango.
Wow.
No, he's way better class than Fandango.
Kim is keeping herself from dropping an F-bomb.
He's Scottish LA Knight because the only thing LA Knight's ever been good for is on the mic. That's all he is. He's no good in the ring, and Joe Hendry is the exact same. Scottish LA Knight.
LA Knight can actually wrestle.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Wait, are you talking shit on LA
He's the
Knight?
most generic move that I've ever seen.
Agree with
He
that.
can talk circles around everybody.
Eli Drake was a really good wrestler in TNA.
When he
Yeah.
beat Steiner, when he was in the what the hell
Yeah.
the group? What was the group with
When I say
Tangaloa.
dummy, you say yeah, dummy.
Dummy. Yeah.
match? He pressed a button that said "dummy, dummy, dummy."
Dummy.
That shit
He
sucked.
was
And if
good
you
in
like
NWA
that and not
Hollywood.
Joe Hendry, then maybe you're the problem.
Well, you know
You
what?
know?
I just want to say one thing, and then we really should move on. I think you need to realize Eli Drake is taking a long look in the mirror at Mr. Anderson, and they're not that different.
Well, that's why I don't like LA Knight, because it's unoriginal.
And
But I mean,
Rusty
it's
is
just a loud guy. It's just a loud guy. Yeah, I love them both, but they're not that different, and that's okay. But either way,
Well, Josh Alexander, on a better note, is like modern day Kurt Angle, sort of,
He's
but Canadian.
He's a Canadian Kurt
Yeah,
Angle.
Canadian
Yeah.
Kurt.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. I don't think I've ever seen Josh Alexander do a bad match with anyone.
I would love to see him and his former tag partner go at it again.
Yep, I will.
Ethan Page.
NXT.
Yeah, Ethan.
Run that.
I would prefer to see Josh Alexander against Shelton Benjamin.
Yes,
You know what?
sir.
I'm good
Oh.
with seeing him and Page together. I like Alexander more on his own. That's just me.
So from there, we get into the system defeating ABC, doing the tag team titles. We're just setting up that three-way for Bound for Glory.
Yep. And that's my point. Yeah, just setting it up.
Yeah, Jordan Grace defeats Wendy Chu.
That's another person I despise is Wendy Chu. I am not a fan of the "I'm going to go to sleep now" gimmick, the narcolepsy gimmick.
Isn't she like a demon
She's
now?
always asleep. I hate it.
Isn't she like a demon now? I don't even know.
Yeah.
I think she's basically Sue Young, but sleeps sometimes. Falls asleep randomly.
Oh,
You
man.
want to talk lazy?
Sleepy girl. It
She's
happens.
sleepy Sue Young.
Yeah.
The only thing I have noted from this match is that Jordan Grace DDTs Chu outside, and Chu just like fucking no sells it. She just immediately pops back up, and she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, okay.
And
Yeah,
Jordan
NXT
Grace's
Fighting Spirit.
grandmother saves her from getting hit by a pillow.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
For
Never
what it-
change, TNA. Never
Yeah.
change.
That is, I mean, that's Southern Wrestling 101. You have an old grandmother plant in the front row to get involved.
Jeff Jarrett cries.
Yeah, that is classic. That is classic there.
And then main event, Nick Nemeth defeats Moose. That was a really good match.
I
I
agree.
like Nemeth as the new face of TNA.
Yep.
He's been great.
Works for me.
All right. So, out of 5, what are we giving TNA 2024?
Give me a 2.5. I'll be a little bit more generous on this one. This one was definitely better than 20.
Okay.
I'll adjust my last show and give that a 2 and give this one a 3.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fair.
I'm probably thinking like I'm stuck between the 2.5 and the 3, so I go 2 and 3/4.
33 and a third.
All right. Stop.
0.
0
Rusty with 4.
for
So I'm going to say that this one is a 4-star.
Wow.
Oh,
I
wow.
feel if you compare this one to the original, to 2004, I feel like as a whole, it is on par with good matches that are worth watching.
And a lot of it doesn't make sense, which connects every single one of these pay-per-views, actually.
Well,
That's the glue. That's the glue.
The glue is
Right.
nothing makes sense. The points aren't real and they don't matter.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's what's like really nice about coming into TNA as someone who hasn't watched much of TNA is like it seems like it's all just a giant pot of just everything. And it's just like whatever you reach in and grab is what you're gonna get.
And
Yeah.
everyone has at some point
That's-
run through the roster.
I think I went like 5 years without really keeping up with the storylines, and I jumped right back in and was like, okay, I didn't miss anything.
Well,
Yeah, you did.
and that's the beauty of TNA. It's like a melting pot of talent. Like, to give you guys some potentially breaking news. Have you guys all heard about the releases today from WWE?
So
No.
I heard about Baron Corbin.
So Baron Corbin, Tegan Knox, and Indy Hartwell all released today.
Yep.
And happened a few hours ago. And
I saw Tegan coming for a long time.
Oh yeah, they weren't doing anything. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I am surprised at Indy though, really.
So and I guarantee you, like 2 of those 3 will probably be on TNA in 90 days. Like that's how TNA functions. They pick up.
And honestly, I'm surprised that they hadn't worked something out with TNA. You already got this relationship.
Yeah.
Man, make it like a trade.
Like when WWF sent Al Snow to ECW.
It is a new era for the WWE with this TKO ownership. I don't know that we're going to have the 90 days anymore.
Well, so here's the thing. So apparently there is 90 days, and from what I've seen online so far, Corbin's talking like he's retiring. So Corbin might just be done.
I fully expect him in TNA, and he'll be a world champion.
So Tegan, I think, is going to do AEW, and I think Indy's going to go to TNA. That's my thought.
I'm a Tegan fan.
I like Tegan.
Do you?
Yeah. I'm not huge on her, but I like Tegan.
She's got the Shining Wizard. Is that her stick with the Shining Wizard?
Yeah. I was gonna say the only thing with Tegan, she's just accident prone. She gets hurt a lot.
Oh yeah. Well, here's the thing though. Someone pointed this out. She hasn't gotten hurt in like 3 years. So it has been a bit.
Well, so because they hadn't used her much.
Well, yes, but
I'm not even trying to throw any hate on her, but
yeah. No, I know, but I get what you're saying. She had the back-to-back, well, they taped SmackDown last week.
Yeah, because the pay-per-view
that's worse. WWE has a bad habit of doing
so you said they released 5?
Yeah.
They were they're using the term departed now. Like they're not renewing their contracts. So they're not using the release anymore.
I'm trying to
word that.
On a medical discharge, you're expired.
Well, they must love Apollo Crews because Apollo Crews hadn't been anything, and they won't release him.
Yeah,
because he could do some damage in TNA and AEW, I think, but they will not release him. Which, since you brought this up, what do y'all think about the new system that WWE is doing now with the indies?
They destroyed the British indies. I've seen this before. If you were a fan of NXT UK, you have seen this. Between WWE UK and the Speaking Out movement, they completely raped and pillaged the British indie scene.
Honestly, I think this may be a good. I think the difference is us in the States, we have so much more you got AEW, and you have other indie promotions, and that will force a lot of talent to make a decision of where you really want to be.
So I have two thoughts on it. I'll share, and that's for the sake of everyone's time. That's all I'll do. My first thought is they were already low key kind of doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at all the schools that they're using as of right now,
Right.
it's Seth's school, it's Cody's school, Booker's school, Rikishi's school. It's all their in-home, like, so they were unofficially, there's already a pipeline there of like.
Right.
And WWE's done that for 30 years.
Yeah, I'm
They've
just worried
always
about.
had a local school that they brought some talent in to be indie jobbers, local people.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's what's going to happen to most of these guys because that's how a lot of the people that are in WWE's NXT program started.
So here's the one thing that I get worried about, or I think about that I don't really like about it. I agree with you, everything you basically said, Tanner. But okay, so it's Seth. Let's say Seth's school, for example.
Yeah.
Let's say I want to go and train at Seth's school,
Right.
but I have no intention of ever wanting to do WWE. I want to go to AEW. I want to do
You
Japan
want to go to
or the Indies, but I want to train at Seth's school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Will I be allowed? Like, or is it just like, hey, you come here,
You have
agree
to.
that's
I
my
don't-
issue.
I don't think that will be the case.
Well,
I
it's
hope
definitely not plausible for every single trainee in
Because
all
at
these
that
schools
point,
to make it to WWE.
Are you signing these people to WWE contracts when they agree to wrestle there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially. That's,
Well,
what they
and
did
that's-
that's what they did with the NIL program in college.
That's true.
And
They
see,
signed
that's
them.
why I don't think they will, because with all these different schools, they're not going to pay every student's money to train to get up where they won't get to that level and then cut them. That, to me, that just seems like a giant waste of money.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not looking forward to it at all.
I'm not a fan either, Juice. I agree.
I'm
We'll
not
see.
a fan of it either.
I
Yeah, I
really
just think
don't have an opinion on it. It feels like it's every like 3 months or so now that WWE is like, hey, here's this new thing we want to try. And then surely enough, it fizzles out in like 6 months' time. And I'm just
Yep.
I'm not
But
surprised
this
they're doing
is
it, but I
also
just don't
training.
care.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
always big for wrestlers having opportunity and make money and to do different things. And honestly, I think this could be a good thing for the wrestler. And like I said before, it's going to force you to make some early decisions. Do I really want to be in the WWE? Do I want to go to Japan? Do I want to do these things? Well, I have to take this avenue. So again, none of us really knows. We just hope for the best.
Yeah.
And
WWE is not really set up for everyone to succeed. There's guys
exactly.
There's guys in AEW that either were or would never succeed in WWE that have done great. Orange Cassidy's a great example of that.
Right.
Guys in New Japan that because of language barriers would never do anything in WWE. Shinsuke is a decent example of that right now, honestly.
I feel like the WWE, and if you're the kind of wrestler that knows you're never going to be the main event, and knows you're there to be a good worker, it's fine.
You'll be okay, right?
And that's, if you know that's your role in the group, that's fine. Play that role. Sean Spears is never going to be the guy,
and he's excelled in the okay, I'm just a good hand role.
Yeah,
right.
But he's great as a hand. Dean Malenko did it for years.
Great hand, Dean Malenko.
Yeah, and
that's fine.
That's a fair point. If you know what you are, and being honest with yourself. Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to accept that you don't have the personality to be the top guy in the company. You're the bland boy, so you get put in the mid card.
Or you can look up.
That's
do
the
what?
thing. It's just as necessary. Right.
Yeah.
No one should knock themselves for that.
Wrestling needs mid card acts and jobbers just as much as they need A+ level stars.
Yeah.
Exactly, because without the jobbers, how will we know you're A+ star?
If you're a great role player,
need associate professors.
Yeah.
Deans need professors.
Wrestling to me is all about role players.
and Juice Box needs a straw.
Find your role that fits for you, and you can work out of that role sometimes. I mean, obviously, a lot of those guys sometimes end up going higher, but for the time being, just ride the storm out. See where it takes you.
Mm-hmm.
Be a good role player.
To me, there's more Arn Andersons in the world than Ric Flair's.
There has to be.
Yeah.
Because you have to build the mountain with Arn Anderson so that Ric Flair can be on top of the mountain.
So I do have one more bomb to drop on all of you, and then I do need to kind of probably head out in a few. My last little bomb here for the everyone watching: Marco Stunt has announced his retirement from wrestling.
Thanks for the memories, Marco.
I've been waiting a long time to see that little bastard out of the ring.
Just broke on Twitter.
When was the
Literally forgot about him.
He fought Jack.
He left AEW and he was gone with the wind.
The wind picked him up actually and took him away.
Yeah, I didn't read his whole statement. He has a whole long statement on Twitter, but
I'm good.
I would say this for him. I would say this for him. He's done more in wrestling than I have, so credit to him.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
On that note, Juice Box, we appreciate you being with us tonight.
Absolutely, as always.
You have a great evening.
Thank you.
We will see you again for sure.
Yes. Take care, everybody. Goodbye. Check me out on Twitch, Sharpshooters. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
Okay. Kim, it's been great having you on here.
Kim, nice to see you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we will definitely have you back again.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe we can do some Killer Kim stuff the next time the Forbidden Pod gets opened up. And
I don't know, man. I think you might have to work a little bit more on some drawing factors here, because today's show was great and all, but I think you need to pick better shows to choose from in the future.
Well, we're doing
better content
next time.
If you thought this month was bad, wait till you see the bullshit that we bring up in death matches, and we get to see light tubes and pizza cutters and freaking cheese graters. Kim, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm not breaking this over my head. I don't get paid enough. What are you talking about?
But we have
Necro Butcher signed light tube.
Oh wow!
Oh, that's cool.
You know what that's worth? Not a damn thing is what that's worth.
Maybe
because that's what deathmatch wrestling means to Till 5 Wrestling. It's not worth a damn thing.
It was $22.
$22. There you go.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of things with $22. Necro Butcher signed glass light tube. Maybe not the best choice, but we did.
It's really hard to find somewhere to display something like that.
And the signature rubs off.
Yeah.
So
it's a very inconvenient thing. Kim, next time we have you on, I tell you what, maybe you should get with your husband and he can tell you some good death matches.
Bring him along next time.
Yeah.
Bring him along.
We'll figure something out, but I'll be here if you want me here.
All right. We'll have you here next time.
Thank you.
I think we're going to do it Friday, December the 13th.
Friday 13th.
All right. See you,
Works
Kim.
for me. See you later.
And Professor
Bear. Now, I just want to go ahead and toss this up here for everybody.
Well, wow.
Well,
that's what's coming for you.
You're gonna have to give more than one because I'm a big bastard and I'm taking a lot more than one lick to knock down. So
that's fine. I'll make sure that you only break one of your hips.
Both of them been broke before, so it ain't nothing new. I still come at you.
All right.
Professor Bear, it's great having you as always, man. Thank
you, gentlemen.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on, and I look forward to beating you in some trivia.
And you'll keep looking forward to it because it ain't gonna happen.
See you, Professor. That's been Till 5. We're the top 5 Till 5 guys. And here's a teaser of what's to come.
That's right.
Aliens have invaded my small town. Whoop. I know you didn't mean to break things. I know we're already the Forbidden Pod. But I've got aliens running around in Main Street. We've got people doing like 6 or 7 characters. I know you didn't like the whole Insane Clown Posse face paint thing. But dude, what did you do?
Look, man, I apologize. The point is, it's broke. Okay, it's broke. So I don't really know what else I can tell you. You said you could fix it with some kind of bullshit letter or something. I don't really know. But what I do know is you tell me how the hell we stay as far away as we possibly can from horror or ECW bullshit or face paint juggalos. The direction this show has taken, it's disgusting.
All right. Look, I got my letter sent. I'm pretty sure that we'll be good to head up north and get some answers. So we'll figure out how to make this right. We'll get him the perfect gift. I know we had promised it. I know that we had done a few shady things. We'll get him the right gift, and he'll love it, and everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. Things will no longer be afoot at the Teal 5 Pod.